Hello and happy Saturday. It is time for another party chat. And today is a very special day. It is June 29th, the 1 year anniversary of what I consider to be the beginning of my YouTube channel. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I've got some fun stuff planned for today, even after the stream and throughout this stream. I've got some game codes to give away, so hang out and chat. You might be able to win them. However, they will only be on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, I haven't been able to figure out how to do it on grab the chat and run this bot through multiple platforms. So if you want a chance of winning anything, be a subscriber on my YouTube channel, and we'll be doing some giveaways throughout the day, this stream and my next one. So with that, let's welcome in my guests, my regular co-host, Ryan. Thank you for joining me today, Ryan. How's it going?
Good, man. Super busy, but it's good to be here. So happy 1 year anniversary, dude. Seriously, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you've been here basically since the beginning because Party Chat was the idea I had in my head because I knew wanted to start a channel at some point. I just didn't know when I was going to have the time to. But I had the idea for Party Chat years before I started my channel. So that's like what I wanted to start my channel for. And you've basically been there since the beginning. So it's been great having you around.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So, and unfortunately, Mark is not able to make it today, but we've got a great guest host who I've been wanting to get on the show forever, but due to his schedule, he hasn't been able to make it. But he had some changes. He's like, "Hey, Neo, I know you've been wanting to get me on. My schedule opened up a little bit, so let me know when you want to have me on." I was like, "Are you open on the 29th for Party Chat?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we got Horny Alf, my friend in Subnautica. What's up, Horny Alf? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Like you said, it's been a while. Between career change and moving to another state, I just haven't had the time on certain days to make this happen. But now that I'm moved, I'm streaming a lot more. I'll have more time to be on shows. So happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we could finally make this happen because I've been loving hanging out in your Subnautica streams since I am such a huge Subnautica fan. And it's funny how I'm always in there first, and Paul's like, "I'm here before Neo," and you're like, "No, you're not."
Well, I finished the game, so I'm moving on to some other stuff.
Oh, I missed you finishing it. I was the last one I caught was I guess the one before you finished the game.
Yeah, the last one I put out was the finale, so it was great. And it was a year in the making because before I couldn't stream as much, so I would space it out, and it's taken me about a year to finish it. But
cool. Well, I might have to go back and watch you finish up the game since I love it so much. So, but well, thank you for joining me, and yeah, I'll go ahead and say hi to the chat. Hello, first in the chat is Anna's Gameland. Hello, Anna. Thank you for joining me. I think I saw you. I was on Beelzebub last night, very late, and I think I saw you in the chat. If I'm not mistaken. But Ryan's been telling me that I need to get you on for a stream at some point to talk games. So we're going to make that happen someday. So I will reach out to you. And Clifton 3D was on the panel with me last night on Bell's Hub. Hey, Clifton, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. And we got my other friend who was also on the panel last night, Shaka Zulu. We are on Static's channel every other Monday. So thank you for joining us. I am going to give it a little bit more time to see if anybody filters in before we do the first giveaway. We'll probably do a giveaway between each topic. So before, you know what? I forgot to pull it up. So I will do this in just a moment. We will get, as our usual format, first thing we like to do before we get into our topics is go around and ask everyone what they've been playing lately. So did we already talk about that for you, Alf? Subnautica, have you been playing anything else lately?
Well, I finished Subnautica. I was debating whether to go on to the second Subnautica game. But
Below Zero.
But someone put me on to Breath Edge, which is very similar to Subnautica. So I'm probably going to be
in space.
Probably going to be streaming that right after this show. I got to set up the stream, so I'll probably do that in the background here. But on Wednesdays, I have World of Warships. It's Warships Wednesdays, and we play World of Warships. This last time we had 5 people playing with us. It was pretty fun.
Nice.
Fridays, we've been doing. We started up Halo Reach, and we're going to be playing that with Dermy and Shaka Zulu and Static 2020. Dermy missed this last time because his internet was down. And we made fun of him because he was looking forward to playing it too. And then Sundays are kind of my random multiplayer game stream. I bring in a bunch of people. We play just alternate games in and out. This Sunday, we're playing Party Animals, and I'm having I brought my ladies' night stream back, so you see a bunch of the ladies from this corner of the internet. So
all right. Good stuff. And we got to see I saw another familiar face in the chat, Psychotic Mongoose, saying, "Hey, panel chat, what's up, Psychotic Mongoose? Good to see you, buddy. I see you all over the place in different chats, but welcome." So, all right. And then this is something I put a poll up in my open mic that I did on Thursday. I went solo, which I think was only the third open mic I've done solo, and I affectionately dubbed it. Thanks to my good buddy Carl at the RNG Gaming Podcast, he dubbed it, and I took it and ran with it. And he said, "Go for it." I called it the State of the Nerd, basically the State of the Union address for my channel. It's the anniversary. Some things are going to be changing for my channel near the end of summer. And so I have this poll here that I want everyone in chat's input to determine what I do. And I've been mulling over the idea of starting my own Discord server. And I know that there's so many Discord servers out there. So I know it's like one more Discord server to hang out in. So I just put a poll in chat on YouTube. What do you think I should do? Should I start my own Discord server or not? I take no offense to anyone saying no, because I know there are so many. So go ahead and vote in that, and that'll help. I'm going to do that poll one more time on the next stream I'm on after this, which is going to be a gaming stream basically right after Party Chat. But love to have your guys' input to let me know what you think I should do in that regard. So, Ryan, what have you been playing lately? Have you been playing anything lately?
No, I have been very, very, very busy. Not with just work, but there's a certain thing going on that we don't really talk about here. I've been covering a whole lot of that.
Mustache Man?
No.
Oh, what happened on Thursday night?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that coverage. I mean, I'm talking about. I think Thursday night was a 3-hour show just by itself. So, and then last night I did one. It was 2 hours. So I've been doing a lot of that. I want to play Fable. I still haven't done it. I know I talked about that since the last time, but man, it's just been wall to wall coverage of November. We'll just say.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely keeps you busy. Like, because whenever a lot of the little bit of free time I have, I'm on here streaming. So I get that. I've not been, basically since I started, my game time has dropped drastically because I'm doing so many streams when I can. So what come the end of summer, that'll probably be balanced out a little bit more. But I have been playing. I've still been keeping, as I've mentioned in I think the last two Party Chats, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 remake. I've been keeping that in my quick resume. I've been playing that for maybe about a half hour each day. But the other game that I started playing, and it's too bad Paul's not here because this is like one of his favorite games. I know he's streaming right now. But I decided to start getting into Grounded because it has a lot of similar aspects in the survival crafting elements as Subnautica. And it's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the game. And you wake up and you're a kid, but you're basically the size of a bug, and you're in a backyard. So everything is gigantic, and it's all about survival crafting.
And it's made by the company that did Fallout New Vegas.
It's Obsidian, yeah.
Yep.
Fallout New Vegas and Outer Worlds. I always have to get Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds. They always mix me up. And that's another one of Paul's favorite.
Which one? Worlds? Outer Worlds?
Yeah, Outer Worlds is Obsidian.
Okay,
Outer Wilds is the other one that I always get mixed up, but that one was not Obsidian. That one was, I don't know who developed it, but I'm pretty sure it was published by Annapurna.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird game.
That one has a lot of like diehard fans. I like the small, like, you're in Outer Wilds. You basically exist in this small solar system, but like all the like astronomical stuff is realistic. So if you're, if you got to slow down before you get to things, otherwise you'll crash right into the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But gravity really affects you. So I really loved that aspect. It was basically like taking an actual solar system and shrinking it down.
I remember the puzzles being really hard.
I supposedly people's like, oh, it's got a really good story, but it's basically hunting down and reading stuff for the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't a big fan of that, but I did like the gameplay. But there are people who are diehard fans of that game. I did enjoy it though. But yeah, I always get Outer World and Outer Wilds mixed up. Outer Worlds is the one by Obsidian. They did Grounded. Like I said, New Vegas, they did KOTOR 2. So they've got a lot of good stuff under their belt. But yeah, I've been playing that. Grounded, that is. And I have been enjoying it. It's a little... I wish there was a little bit more signposting of where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do. It's more of like, here's an open world, go figure it out. I just wish there was a little bit more, be like, this is the direction you need to head in for your next objective. That would be nice because it tells you, go find this area. It's like, I don't know where that is. So
Yeah, they want you
and
to
so
stumble around until you find it. I don't like that.
yeah,
At
so I
least give me a
wish
general direction.
exactly. I wish it at least said, "Hey, it's north." At least I knew if I knew which direction to go, I would like that a little bit better. I am enjoying the game. I just wish there was a little bit more signposting, but it is a good game, and it has 4-player co-op. So if anyone wants to play grounded together, let me know. Maybe
Also,
we'll
real
do a
quick,
game night of that sometime. Yeah,
Steam is having a massive sale. So if you want to get stuff for like 60, 70, 80% off, do it now.
yeah. Steam summer sale just started on Thursday, I think it was, and there is a ton of stuff on very deep discount. So.
I think I
Um,
bought like 8 games for like $30.
So, but yeah, I have a number of games to give away, both on Xbox and Steam. So I think we got a few more people in the chat here. So if you want to be eligible for winning some video games in the YouTube chat on my channel, go ahead and type in !games, and I'll do a roll here in a minute. And I have a couple different tiers, and we'll probably increase the tiers as we go through the stream on the kind of quality of games. So if you want to win something, go ahead and type in !games, and we'll roll here for the first winner in a few minutes. So with that, mark this down. 12 minutes. So, all right. Well, we will get into our first topic, which is, as I always like to do, offer the guest of honor the option to provide a topic that you may want to talk about. So the topic that Horny Alf here suggested is, what is your favorite retro console and why? So I know the term retro is a little nebulous nowadays. In my opinion, retro is 16-bit and older, but a lot of people use the definition of 20 years and older. But the 360 came out in 2005, so that'll be 20 years next year, and there's no way I will ever consider the
I know,
Xbox
right?
I will never consider the Xbox 360 a retro console. So you can use whatever definition you want. I consider it 16-bit and older, but people have various definitions for retro. So, Alf, since this was your question, you want to lead us off?
All right. I can't narrow it down to one, so here's how I'll do it. I really love, and this is a console that got overlooked in its time. It had a great launch in the United States, and it got smashed not long after that by Sony, and that was the Dreamcast. Amazing system, great games, some really wacky games. I love collecting for that system. I've actually got 2 Dreamcasts. So that one is just, it's got a lot of unique games that you don't see a lot of other places. That's why I like it. And the US launch, the Japanese launch was kind of a disaster, but the US launch with the whole 99.99 was phenomenal, and it had a lot of people showed up the launch night for that.
September 9th, 1999.
Yep.
Okay, they did the same thing with Skyrim, 11/11/11.
And then as far as favorite console, mainly because it's
before you move on.
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny that you mentioned the Dreamcast, because I was on Carl of RNG Gaming Podcast last night, and that was one of the things we talked about for a while was the Dreamcast.
Nice. As far as console oddities, because I am a console collector, I've got not only the ones I grew up with, but I started going back and like collecting even rare consoles. But as far as an oddity, just because of how much of a failure it was and how expensive it was it wasn't that expensive, but was the Atari Jaguar. I started collecting for that, and I got lucky. I got it for $50 with all the hookups, 2 controllers, back 15 years ago. And now if you go online and look on eBay, it's upwards of $500 or more. Nice. So I caught it at the right time for collecting. But it is an odd console because you can tell they wanted to compete with the other big 2 at the time, and it was a disaster because there's so many lies behind the scenes on that console. But yeah, I love playing the games too, because there's some really, really bad games on that console.
I've never even seen one, and I don't even know if I could name a single game on the Jaguar.
The one that comes to most people's mind when they hear the Jaguar was Alien versus Predator.
Okay.
Oh.
So, but yeah, that's like I said, I have the one that I like just because it's a great system, and then one that's more of an oddity that I collect for. So,
All right, cool. So, and hello, Melee K, coming in here, reminding me something. I wanted to start off in my intro, and I keep forgetting. But hello, K, good to see you. And yes, today is a great day to sub to Neo if you haven't already. He's so close to 200. I'm 189. It would be awesome to get to 200 today for my anniversary. If not, on Thursday, on July 4th, is my birthday. So that'd be an awesome birthday gift to hit 200 by Thursday, if not today.
yeah, everyone get this man to 200.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. And
Your birthday's on America's birthday?
Yep, my birthday is July 4th. I was born at 8:55 p.m. during the fireworks.
That's got to be the best birthday ever.
It legitimately is the best birthday ever. If I had the choice to pick a different day, I would not pick any other day. It's awesome.
I wouldn't
Always getting
either.
fireworks. It's always a holiday. Well, here it is. The only 2 times I didn't get fireworks was I think it was on my 17th birthday and my 27th birthday, and both times because I was on vacation in Mexico, and obviously they don't celebrate 4th of July. But I was on vacation in Mexico, so it was all good. But thank you for reminding me of that, Kay. And another thing I don't ever shout out, but I usually have my tip link pinned. If you feel so inclined to give a tip, I greatly appreciate it. Nothing is ever expected. But any tips at any time will always go into giving a spin on my upcoming, whenever my next gaming roulette stream is, which I'm going to be doing right after this. So if you do send a tip, that'll give a spin to the wheel, and that'll be fun. So, but I'll talk more about that at the end of the stream. So, all right, Ryan, what about you? What is your favorite retro gaming console?
So I would probably go somewhere in the neighborhood of retro would be probably very early 2000s to 90s and before. This is not going to be an unusual pick for me. I have to go with the Nintendo 64.
Okay.
I think it was one of the most perfect launches of any system. The hype around it was so massive. And me personally, as a kid, and my parents, again, I've told this story before, they stood in line at like 4 a.m. or something like that at Target to get one. And it was just like, it was freezing out, it was Colorado. And so it's got some of my favorite games of all time on it. Mario 64, GoldenEye, San Francisco Rush.
That was I played the crap out of that game.
My dad and I played the shit out. Sorry, at least I slightly muted it. Diddy Kong Racing.
I got the my grandparents got me the N64 steering wheel, and I used that for San Francisco Rush. That was so much fun.
Okay, yeah, no, my dad and I played Diddy Kong Racing and San Francisco Rush till we were blue in the face.
Diddy Kong Racing. Shout out to Melee
Yeah.
K. That's her favorite.
We were so good that we could actually start on certain maps, let them lap us, and we would still actually hit all the points, all the boost points, and end up almost lapping them, if not lapping them. It was crazy. That's how good him I got.
Dude, the Nintendo 64 when I got it.
Thanks for stopping in, Kay. I will see you later.
When I got it in the neighborhood I was living, my best friends both lived like really close, like walking distance. So every afternoon after school, they'd come over. We'd play Mario Kart. We'd play WCW versus NWO. That was a amazing game. So, Mario Kart was hilarious too. So,
I think I'm dropping a little bit because both of y'all have glitched recently. So maybe it's me.
I did hear Alf just drop right there at the end of his last word, but other than that, that's the only.
Alf, did you hear Neo drop, or was that me? Because he kind of cut out for a second, like froze.
I didn't hear him freeze or anything.
Maybe a couple minutes ago. Okay, then it must have been me.
Yeah, I did when you first got on the stream. I saw your camera glitching a little bit. So
okay, if it continues, I might just turn it off.
Okay, good pick. Yeah, I probably around that time because I grew up a Nintendo kid. My first console was the Super Nintendo and then the N64. I probably played a lot more N64 than I did play Super Nintendo, but
yep. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. We went straight from regular Nintendo to 64 in my house.
Okay, so you skipped a generation.
Yeah.
Because some of my favorite games like ever are on the N64. A lot of them, like GoldenEye, hasn't really aged well. Because I was originally
malarkey, sir.
I still love the game. I haven't played it in forever. But I will. Anytime anyone mentions GoldenEye, I always have to mention Perfect Dark because it took everything GoldenEye did and did it even better.
I know. I knew you were going to bring it up,
and it didn't get the recognition it deserved. neither one, because that was the beginning of like polygonal graphics. A lot of it doesn't age well.
That generation of consoles was a transitional generation. They were just
Yes.
getting out of 2D and trying to figure out 3D. So a lot of the games didn't age well from that period.
The gaming puberty, essentially.
Right.
The PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64, man, will always be probably two of my favorites because they were just so revolutionary at the time. You just went, as a kid, you went, and it was so much fun. My friends, we all played GoldenEye at my house for this and the 64, and then we would turn around and go to my other friend's house, because he had a PlayStation 1, and we'd play WWF No Mercy.
No,
I'm sorry, not WWF SmackDown. No Mercy was on the 64.
Okay. But yeah, because when I was putting my answers down prior to the stream, I was planning on saying Super Nintendo because a lot of those games still hold up better than the N64 ones. But no, I got to go with the N64 because like Perfect Dark was literally my favorite game of all time for like nearly a decade. GoldenEye was great, played the heck out of that. Ocarina of Time is still my favorite Zelda game ever. Very, very closely trailing behind it is Twilight Princess, but that was different console generation. Majora's Mask was a great game. So, yeah, you know what? I was originally planning on saying Super Nintendo, but there's not as many games that I love on Super Nintendo other than like the Mega Man X trilogy, because those are some of my favorite games ever. But there's more games that I love on N64. So, yeah, I got to switch my answer. I'm going to say N64 as well. And being the first time, at least for
ever.
What was out first? Was the original PlayStation out before the N64, or did the N64 come out first?
I think
the PlayStation came out first.
PlayStation
it was
came out first.
Okay. So then, yeah, N64 was the first console with built-in 4 controller ports and being able to play 4-player split screen for the first time on GoldenEye. Oh man, some great times. So yeah, I have to pivot from my original answer was going to be Super Nintendo, but I got to pivot to N64 as my favorite retro. So. Yeah, you convinced me, Ryan. It was all your fault. You made me change my answer.
You are welcome, sir.
Call an audible. So, all right. Let's see here. We are at 20. It's like 23 minutes. Okay, let's check on the poll because I have to pull it up here. Weird. Load here. We got 6 votes at 100% yes. Cool. Well, I'm going to keep that running the whole time. But we got another familiar face showing up in chat. Dempsey, what's up, Dempsey? Good to see you, buddy. PS1 was September 29th, 1996. Okay. I don't know what the N64 release date was because I didn't get it for a couple years later. Oh, he's saying that was the N64 release date. That sounds more like it because I was like, I thought the N64 came out in 96.
The PS1 came out in 95.
95. Okay. Perfect. That's what I figured PS1 was a little bit for. Oh, almost by exactly a year, saying September 9th, 95. So thank you for that fact check. Appreciate it, Dempsey. Good to see you, buddy. So, all right. So we will move on to our next topic. So next topic on the agenda I've got here is one that I think I had on last Party Chat's agenda, but we didn't get to it, so I bumped it to this week. And favorite midnight launch party. So that's something that doesn't really happen anymore. Another thing that's kind of gotten lost in the shift to mostly digital games, because why go out and wait in line at midnight when you can just download it, or you can pre-install games now, and then you just don't have the license to play it until midnight your time zone. So it's sad that that's one of the things that has kind of disappeared, because man, I didn't do a midnight launch for Halo 3, but I remember like Halo 3 midnight launch was like everywhere. Like there's so many great highlights and stuff like floating around YouTube, and they did so much. Like Microsoft was going like all out on it, and seeing people excited for a game to come out at midnight, lining up for days at a time.
Yeah, I remember people lining up, man.
A better time in video games, really. But it's for me to start off the answers to the question. It was a Halo game, just not Halo 3, because I did get the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. Because I do have the helmet. I just don't know where it is. I've been wanting to find it forever so I can put it in my background. Once I find it, it's going to go up there. But I didn't get that at midnight. I think I got it on launch day. I'd have to go back and check my achievements, which I'll do here in just a moment. But the midnight launch that was my favorite was, even though it was my least favorite of the original Halo trilogy, which was Halo 2, the launch party was so much fun because me and all my buddies were really good at Halo 1, and a GameStop nearby GameStop was doing a Halo 1 tournament, and whoever won the tournament got Halo 2 for free at midnight once they went on sale. So we all went. I did okay, but one of the buddies in our group, he's the one that won the whole tournament. So that was just fun to go and hang out and play in a Halo tournament before Halo 2 came out. But we ended up not liking Halo 2 all that much. We played it for a couple weeks, then went back to playing Halo 1 until Halo 3 came out. But the Halo 2 launch party was a lot of fun. So curious from you guys what your guys' favorite midnight launch party was, assuming that you've done any. No shame if not.
I haven't really done. It wasn't really a midnight one. The last one that I actually did stand in line for before it was released, I think it was like a 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. released, was Mass Effect 3.
Ooh.
And that was at a GameStop. Back when I used to love going to GameStop.
Did yeah, you know what? I think I did do. Did I do a midnight for that, or did I just go and pick it up the next day? Because I know I pre-ordered it. That's my favorite franchise of all time.
I know I stood in line because it was almost dark out, but it was summertime. I'm pretty sure in Florida. I just moved there, so it was kind of like that weird, kind of duskish. But the sun was mostly down.
Yeah.
So it was, I guess I'd say kind of twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stood in line for that though. I had it. I reserved mine, but you still had to stand in line for it because they weren't going to just like hand it to you.
Yeah, I remember someone I've had on has told the story once or twice, but I don't remember what game it was. But they pre-ordered a game and they waited in line, and they were the first one in line to not get it because they ran out of copies.
Jeez.
Oh.
I got to find out who that was and what game it was, but that was a heartbreaking story because I remember it was something big. But I know another. I think the last midnight part launch I remember going to, and it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as the Halo one was for Portal 2. I remember waiting in line for Portal 2 and talking with a bunch of fun people beforehand. But Alf, what about you? Have you done any midnight launch parties?
Never did any midnight launch parties. However, the closest thing I could say to that was around Christmas, the Christmas after the N64 came out. I wanted that thing so bad, but they said I had to wait and be a Christmas gift. But they were so hard to find during that time period. And my dad was calling stores. We finally found a store. They say, hey, if you show up at this time, when the doors open, you can first person to, first come, first serve to get the N64s and then you're out. So that's basically what we did. We showed up at like 6 a.m. And then as soon as they opened doors, it was like Black Friday. We were screaming across the store to get it. And then as far as games go, I'd have to agree with you. The Halo 2, I didn't show up there the night of, but the very next day after it launched, we had a LAN party at a dude's house, and we had a bunch of Xboxes set up, bunch of TVs, and that was when TVs weren't very light. They were the big
CRT TVs that weigh a ton.
Yeah, so you were playing like 16-player matches and drinking beer, and it was awesome. So
fun stuff. So let's see. So Dempsey's saying that his son Zombie Main loves Halo so much. I find it to be fun, but among a slew of other games of the same ilk, it is more standard than amazing. Oh, blasphemy. Last time I bought a game right at release was a Monster Rancher remaster on Steam. So no lines in my front room. Yeah, exactly. So, and we got someone over from Alf's channel, Legatus
Legionus.
Legatus Legionus. Thank you. What's up, Legatus? Good to see you. Happy and to whatever you're celebrating. It's anniversary today and birthday next week, so it's kind of a combined Anna birthday, if that makes sense. So
Anna birthday. I don't think it's Anna's birthday.
No, combining birthday and anniversary. But,
I know.
Had a launch party LAN when Civ 4 and 5 came out. There was 8 of us all in the same LAN. It was amazing. CRT monitors everywhere. I never did PC LAN parties, but I definitely did LAN parties on Halo 1, playing 16-player with 4 Xboxes. And that was some of the funnest time.
I remember that in the barracks, man. 2 rooms, 2 systems, I'm sorry, 4 systems, 4 TVs, 2 in each room, running cables, doors opens, just bunch of dudes hanging out, drinking, getting just playing Halo, and it was wild. It's wild times.
Yeah, good times. So, all right. So, I haven't seen anyone put it in, but I do have game codes to give away. So, if anyone wants to win a game code, enter
Yeah,
!games in the YouTube chat, and I will have a bot that will pull all the people that put that in and roll and pick a random winner. What were you
yeah,
about
I'm
to
not
say,
sure.
Ryan?
Oh, I was gonna ask you, and I forgot like 5 minutes ago about say, what I think people might have missed what you have to type in. That's why I haven't done it yet.
Okay. Yeah, the !games is my keyword. So if you want to potentially win a game, put that in the YouTube in my YouTube chat, and my bot will pick a random winner here if we have anybody who puts that in the YouTube chat. So
So everybody should do it now.
do it now.
Do it now.
What are you waiting for? Kill me. So all right, 31. 15. All right. Well, we will go into our next topic, which is I gotta move these windows around because they're overlapping because I got so many windows open right now. All right. Next topic for the show is speaking of we were talking about kind of the death of physical media. But I thought it'd be good to ask everyone, what was the last physical game you bought? I know a lot of people still make that a habit of buying stuff physically, and that's excellent. I am not very good about that, so I do preach the gospel of physical media, even though I'm not very good about holding up my end of the bargain, but I do support it. So most of the stuff I bought in the last few years has been digital, but I do have a couple of recent physical buys, so curious, which I'll get into here shortly. But go ahead and let me guys know what the last physical game that you bought was.
I think it was mine was a PC game, but it was an old one. It's like Windows 95 or something like that. I think it was A Bridge Too Far or something like that. Because
Is that a World War II game?
yeah, it is. And but then I moved from Florida and it's in storage, so it's a lot of good it did me there. So yeah, I was buying a bunch of older games. Like I bought some PlayStation 1 games because I wanted to because obviously I have a backwards compatible PS3, so I wanted to play those, and yeah, so just kind of buying retro stuff.
Okay, yeah, I know. I've got a bunch of friends who are like retro hunters, so they're always buying like older stuff.
I think for me it was probably because I do like to buy new games that have physical copy, but I think it was Starfield was the last one I bought.
Okay, how I know that had quite the controversy around it. Did you like Starfield? Did you hate it? Was it mediocre? What did you think of it?
The game has lots of problems. And I don't know much about coding, but it's like any Bethesda game, they can be clunky, and it feels clunky at times. There's details they leave out that other games have put in of the same era. As far as I don't think the story's not the most engaging, but I like the setup, like the factions. I think that's interesting. It reminds me of Firefly because you have the Alliance, you have the Freestar Collective. There was aspects of it I enjoyed. The shipbuilding was fun. Outpost building was a little of a trudge because it takes so many resources. But yeah, there's aspects of it that I liked. Stuff, other stuff I have complaints about. But
yeah, I'm sure it's like I have not played it. I do plan to play it at some point. I was hoping that, and I won't be playing it anytime soon. So I'm hoping by the time I get around to it, they will have a lot of quality of life upgrades. I do know that not too long ago there was a really big release with a bunch of quality of life upgrades. Yeah. Have you played it since that patch came out?
Yeah, but I didn't notice much of the difference. I think most of the people that had issues with the game, it was on the PC end, because as with any of these major games, it seems like they spend more time optimizing for the consoles than they do for PC. And unfortunately, PC players suffer because of that. But yeah, and they've got a new expansion coming out soon. They're gonna release more about one of the factions that's in the game that you don't see much in the base game. So
yeah, they announced that during the Microsoft press briefing a couple weeks ago when they announced all their new stuff. So what was that? Do you remember what it was called?
I can't remember, but I know the faction that it's surrounding is House Varun in the game, which is a faction that's you don't see much. I mean, you eventually sometimes you run into their ships, but for the most part, they're kind of a veiled faction that you don't know where their homeworld's at. Well, this new expansion is going to expand on that faction as a whole.
Okay. Are you looking forward to that, or are you just going to bypass it?
I'll give it a shot. I still haven't beat the game. Like between everything else, trying to build the channel and everything, haven't had time to go back and play it much. But I'll check it out eventually.
Okay. Cool. So, as for me, the last physical game I bought I didn't directly buy the game, but it came with the console. So, like I said earlier, I was a Nintendo kid, and then around the GameCube Xbox era, I switched mainly to Xbox. Although I did I did get a Wii as well, but I didn't get a Wii U, and I didn't have a Switch up until last month. I finally got a Switch, and I bought one secondhand, and the person I bought it from had a physical copy of Metroid Prime Remastered with it, and Metroid is one of my favorite franchises of all time. So that ended up being indirectly the last physical game I bought, and Metroid Prime is a phenomenal, fantastic game. I love that game. So the last physical game I intentionally bought, like exactly the game, I'm pretty sure it was Journey to the Savage Planet, which I've mentioned a number of times, and because Metroidvania being my genre of speciality, we have a criminal lack of 3D Metroidvanias, and even less than that, first-person Metroidvanias. Basically, there's Metroid Prime, there's the Supra Land games, and there is Journey to the Savage Planet. We need more first-person Metroidvanias, and I love Journey to the Savage Planet, and I played it when it was on Game Pass. It then left Game Pass, and then they released a Series X version of the game called Employee of the Month. But if you bought and it's actually like a separate game, so it's not like just an upgrade to the existing game. They're two separate games, but they are the exact same game, if that makes any sense. So being an achievement hunter and a completionist, you could play it again and get all the achievements again, which is great because I love that game. So if you bought the original version, you get the new version for free. So, and it didn't matter if it was digital. If you bought the digital version, it would automatically also give you the Series X version. But they said if you have physical, then you can email us like a picture of your disc, and then we'll like gift the digital version to your account or something. So I wanted to test it because I'm a Metroidvania community of guys, and we were all testing these different ways to make sure that they worked. So I was like, all right, I'll be the one that buys it physically to make sure that they actually, follow through on the word. So I bought a copy of it and sent them the picture. It took like a week or something. I was like, why does this take so long? But then I ended up getting the digital version of the upgraded version as well. But I do have the physical version of that game now as well. And that's probably the last physical game I bought, specifically the game and not a console, and the game came with it. But yeah, and Journey to Savage Planet, I always recommend it. It's got co-op. Unfortunately, it doesn't have crossplay, so you can't play it like between Steam and Xbox. But if anyone has it on Xbox, I am happy to do the co-op and Sherpa you through it because I love that game. So, yeah, it looks like Ryan and Dempsey are the only ones who put in the.
Oh, I didn't think that was going to hit. I was just trying to tell people to do it.
Yeah.
I thought you just had to put it by itself.
I wasn't sure exactly how it worked. It just picks it up if it catches that
man.
in the chat.
I was trying to tell people to do it.
But yeah,
I didn't mean to do that.
You and Dempsey are the only ones who've done it so far. So if anyone wants
Dempsey,
to potentially win a game,
give it to Dempsey. He's a great dude, and he
put
watches
exclamation mark games in
all
there.
my stuff.
But no, Ryan, you've been a great host and been around all this time, so you're definitely eligible as well. Not any of that. You're not eligible because you're part of the panel. So
no.
But Dempsey's saying, is it a handheld? Is it a handheld or the console Switch? Oh, it's the dockable, the actual version. There's no way I would get the Switch Lite because then you can't dock.
Yeah.
I did get it because I was traveling a ton last month and I wanted to have something to play while I was traveling. But there was no way I wouldn't get the regular version that you can dock because I want to be able to play it on my TV at home as well. So I even got Christian Frades coming in here. He's always dropping awesome tidbit facts. So for Conquer, he and his love interest Barry dress up as Neo and Trinity retrospectively and recreate the lobby scene. I have not played that game, but I have seen pictures of that, so I did know that.
That should be
Yeah.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, right?
Because there's Conker's Bad Fur Day and Conker Live and Reloaded are the two Conker games, right?
I didn't know there was a second. No.
I'm
One of
pretty
those
sure there's two games, but I don't know.
One or not, or maybe both of those Conker games are very expensive to collect now.
Oh yeah. Well, and Conker's Bad Fur Day, man, was like mature. It was a raunchy
It didn't look
game,
like
man.
it, but it was a very mature game. I do know that.
Yeah. An
and
ex-girlfriend who loved that game.
The popular game. People, every time I hear someone talk about Conker, they talk about how much they love that game. I just never got a chance to play it. But did you know the Adam Sandler movie Little Nicky got a Game Boy Color game? I think I did know that. So, Dempsey, my 2 cents. The reason we don't have enough of the first-person Metroidvania is because everyone wants online multiplayer and PvP for every single game all the time. I don't like the trend. Yeah, me neither, personally. Yeah, same here. So, yeah, if I've got Xbox and Steam games, so if anybody wants to win some, type in that / games in the chat, and I'll give it a few more minutes. And if not, the only ones in the first roll are going to be Ryan and Dempsey.
Nope, not me. Give it to Dempsey. That was a mistake. I was just trying to tell people.
No, it's fine. So
no, I feel like that's cheating.
No, it's not. So all right. Next up, let's see our next topic on the agenda here. This should be a fun one. This is one that I thought of just recently too, because like I usually say, I've been building this list of questions for Party Chat for years before I started my channel, because I knew what the format was going to be. I just wasn't able to start my channel for so long. But this question I actually just thought of just recently. I was like, oh, that'd be a fun topic for Party Chat. So next topic on the agenda is, what is your favorite, or what is the best friendship ending game? So like for board games, I would say it's Monopoly. I hate that game. It can literally take eternity, but curious on what is the best or most fun, or whatever, just whatever your game you consider that you love, or maybe you hate, but is a friendship ender game. So I think the inspiration for this game, for this question, came to me from Mario Party. I have not played. I think I've only played one Mario Party, and apparently it was the worst one. It was a Mario Party on Wii, and I only played it because my roommates in college liked it, and it made me rage all the time because it was like completely RNG. At the end of the game, it would like arbitrarily divvy up points to people just based on literally nothing. So you could be doing the best and then end up at the bottom, or vice versa, or anywhere in between. And I hated that game, and they always wanted to play it. And I'm like, I hate this game. Why do you keep making me play it? And you could be doing good, and sometimes it was the AI or the brain in the game who divvies up points, but sometimes people screw you over in the mini games. It was fun, but also very, very rage inducing. So I think, yeah, I've got a couple other answers, but curious from you guys, what are some other games that you consider friendship enders?
Well, I got a real story if y'all want to hear it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I mean, we're still friends. But okay, so my buddy, his girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend, we all went to Dave and Buster's, and we all decided to play 4-way Rush 2049, right? So
the arcade version of San Francisco Rush.
Yeah,
I never did get to play that one.
Yeah, so we're all four of us are racing each other, and I'm about ready to win. I mean, I'm right there at the finish line, and my buddy, being a dick, he takes me out, taking himself out, and my girlfriend won, and I was so pissed off because I was that close to winning that I flipped out on him, and then and then she's trying to calm me down. I was like, "Don't calm me down. He sucks." So it made her mad at me, and I had to apologize to her later because I kind of yelled at her a little bit, and I'm like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." It's just, I don't know. It's not a great story. I think I was like 23, so I was an idiot. And of course, it was one of those things that I was so pissed off at him that I could have punched him that day.
I totally get that.
Yeah, I ultimately wasn't mad at her. I was just so irritated at him, and she's like, I'm like, dude, I was like trying to tell him that how much he sucks, and she's like, but no. So yeah, and anyway, don't play video games and then get mad at your friends. It's not worth it. But no, him and I are still like best friends. Yeah, Well, he actually married that girlfriend. So me and my ex girlfriend, we're not together anymore. That's the one that like conquers Bad Fur Day. So
Is that why you're like, I hate that game? She said, I love this
no,
game. We can't be
no,
together.
we were kids. I think I was 23 when I met her. She's 20. We're together like 5 years.
Okay.
Then I moved to Florida, so that kind of
Yeah, that can definitely make things more difficult.
yes.
So, well, let's see. Dempsey's got a good one in here, but about tabletop games that end friendships. Aggravation. I've not heard of that one, but 2, Monopoly, as I mentioned. 3, Munchkin. Yeah, I totally get that. We used to play a lot of Munchkin. That was nearly ended one of our friendships. So I totally get that one. And Magic the Gathering. I played Magic once. I wasn't really my thing, but I did love Yu-Gi-Oh. But I was very much a casual. So
I had a cousin that used to like
that.
to play Monopoly when we all got together for the holidays, and she would just skunk everybody, and everybody gets so pissed at her. And then half the time, my other cousin, who was her brother, him and I were the close ones. He'd like rage quit. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm not playing anymore." And he'd like storm off.
Oh, and Dempsey has a video games input, Street Fighter. So I'm not much of a fighting game fan. I basically my only experience in fighting games is Baby's first fighter, as I call it, is the Smash Bros. Franchise, which I love, which is actually another one that I have as one of the answers to this game because that was the only game where I physically assaulted someone because of I punched my buddy in the leg
Oh my
because he was
God.
being a complete dick. Because what was it? He was just being like the biggest troll ever. I think he was either Kirby or Donkey Kong, and he wasn't trying to fight anyone else. Like I'm trying to fight everyone because it was a 4-player match, and his like entire goal that match was just to grab me and jump off the edge. He didn't care if he died; he just wanted me to die. I was so freaking pissed when he killed me, and I was doing good if it wasn't for that, and I freaking slugged him in the leg. He's like, "Ow!" I'm like, "I told you to stop doing that, you douchebag." It was pretty
Yeah.
funny, but
It's
it
an
pissed me off so
agent
much.
of chaos.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think the most controllers I've ever seen broken when playing a video game with a friend, and it wasn't by me. It was the same friend, the one who took me out in San Francisco Rush. I think he's just trolling me too. He knew he couldn't win, so he's like takes both out. I have never seen a person break so many controllers over Call of Duty. So like we would all be like playing online and stuff, and he would just all of a sudden, freaking camper, just wham! There goes the controller, and I'm like, "There's another one." I think he broke 7 controllers while we were roommates. Is in our 20s. I'm not joking.
I never actually broke a controller, but I've separated it so that it was like open, but it still worked. And that was mainly from Ninja Gaiden, one of my favorite games of all time, but also one of the hardest games of all time. But yeah,
Oh,
I totally understand that rage.
I think I've only broken. Sorry, Alf. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I agree with you on the Monopoly thing. And perfect example, my kids, when they sit down to play Monopoly, it usually ends in yelling and accusations of cheating. And the game, they never finish the game. It's always just we end up having to take the game
Flip
away
the
because
table.
they're getting all over each other, getting mad at. But as far as games go, I'd agree with Street Fighter. Back in my early days of gaming, we had Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and we even did tournaments on that. I'd seen so many people throw controllers and get, stomp out of the room. They're getting crushed by some other guy. As far as later on, when I had the N64, so I had 2 friends that lived really close. One of those friends would bring his little brother, who was quite a bit younger than the rest of us. Every afternoon, they come over. We'd play some WCW versus NWO on the N64, and
Was that
inevitably,
the one you love, Ryan? Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, well, continue
Well,
on.
inevitably, the game would end up in the 3 of us picking on his little brother to the point where he'd stomp out of the house.
That's what you got to do with little brothers.
So, but yeah, that's my experience with those.
Sorry, I had to step away for 5 seconds. Somebody's asking me a question. What'd you say?
Oh, he just mentioned a wrestling game on N64, and I was wondering if that was one of the ones that you loved.
No, my absolute favorites. Okay, classic one would be WWF No Mercy because you could take him in the back and you could like take him and put him through tables and stuff, and that was always a lot of fun. but I think the best wrestling game series of all time is going to be the WWF SmackDowns, which turned into SmackDown versus Raw, and then I think those were by far the best. WWF SmackDown 2 Know Your Role is probably my all-time favorite wrestling game. That was incredible.
Ryan, if you're looking for a wrestling game, I don't know if you played it before. It was on the Xbox 360 and PS3. It's WWE All Stars. So
I
you
don't think I
have
have.
you have a bunch of you have two. You have all the newer wrestlers, and then you have all the classics like Hogan, Macho Man.
Okay.
It's and the character models are they're exaggerated big, which just makes it a hilarious game. But it's got a lot of the same game mechanics as that WWF game you mentioned on N64. A lot of the
Okay.
same button combinations and everything. So check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason I turned my camera off is because it seemed like maybe I was still glitching a little bit because Nerdy, you got a little fuzzy and we're kind of cutting out. So I thought maybe it was my connection.
You looked fine on my end.
So, okay, so, well, then
Well, I
who
mean,
knows?
your image quality, not you.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Shots across the bow.
I know, right?
You got to give your friends a hard time.
That's pretty much true. That's what guys do, man. And
Yep.
then one of them gets pissed off.
If they're thin-skinned.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me one time. He's like, bro. He's like, if you can't handle if because when I was younger, obviously, my real dad had like a huge temper. I have anyway. It's taken me a long time to learn how to mellow myself. But anyway, when I was a kid. But yeah, he's like, dude, if we're picking on you, he's like, it's because we like you. And he's like, two, if you can't handle us picking on you, how are you going to handle anybody else messing with you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, too many thin-skinned people in the world these days.
Oh, jeez.
Can't take a joke.
Pissed off a hornet's nest today on Twitter.
Don't you do that every day?
That's every day that ends in Y.
Yeah. It's usually such a mediocre take, too.
So, and we got a recent friend of the channel, Nerd Takes. What's up, Nerd Takes? Good to see you. I haven't had him on, but we just got connected recently, and we're definitely going to get together for a stream at some point. So good to see you, Nerd Takes. And Chris, I want to mention this one that Christian brought up. Another random fact. Did you know that Capcom made a Nightmare Before Christmas video game called Oogie's Revenge for PS2 and Xbox? I didn't know that before yesterday, but we actually talked about that on RNG podcast last night. So it's funny that you mention it. Gameplay helped inspire Bayonetta. Yeah, it was... whoever was talking about it last night was calling it Nightmare Before Christmas meets Devil May Cry. So it's funny that you mentioned that because I just found out about that game last night. So saying sometimes you are Ryan and sometimes you are the bucket.
That's too much.
Confucius says sometimes you are Ryan, sometimes you are bucket. So
Camera's causing the lag, yeah, because as soon as I turn it back on, Neo froze. So I think it's me.
Weird. Well, on my end, it looks fine. So.
I don't know. It was just a half a second, but I'm gonna.
So, Nerd Takes, since you are recently joining the stream, I am doing some game giveaways for Xbox and Steam. So, I think the timer's at like 5 minutes. So, if you want to potentially win a game, you can enter !games in the chat. That goes for everyone. And I am writing some names down here to contact afterwards. So if you want to win a game, I've got a bot that pulls that out of stream and picks a random winner. So !games if you want the chance to win anything. So
for the love of God, do it. So I'm not one of the ones that wins.
So, all right. 4:15. All right, moving on to our next topic for the day. Was another one that I recently added to the list of questions, although we have done a very similar question before many, many party chats ago. But this version of the question I just thought of recently. Previously, we asked, what game would you suggest to a newcomer to get them into your favorite genre? But this one is slightly different, and that is, what is a game that you would recommend to a normie who doesn't play video games to try to get them into playing video games? So I'll go ahead and let some of you guys go first.
Alf, you got something? Because I don't know if I do.
For me, and I'm not going to go to a specific game, but I would just say a lot of the mainline Nintendo games, because they're easy to get into. They're not usually that complicated. I think like Mario, any of the Mario games, Mario Kart, that's an easy thing for a normie to get into.
Oh, Mario
Not
Kart could have been an answer to the friendship ending games as well.
Oh, that's another good one. But
didn't
yeah,
think about
any of
that.
those mainline like Mario games, stuff that's a little simpler, easy to get into. That's what I'd suggest, really.
Okay. That was I think the first thing that popped into my head was, or actually not the first thing that popped into my head, but yeah, basically Mario games, I would say for a normie, probably any of the 2D Marios, because I know some people have a lot of trouble with 3D games and figuring out how to control movement separate from the camera. So in order to make it as normie friendly as possible, pretty much any of the 2D Marios would be one of the things I would suggest. But I got another one. But Ryan, what would you suggest to a normie to get them into playing video games? Hopefully, get them hooked.
Yeah, maybe Mario Kart or something like that. Something that can be played with, like, I don't know, some friends or something that's fun for everybody. I guess I don't really play that many games that would be, I guess, openly friendly to beginning gamers. I don't know, because I like to play like Fallout and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I love massive RPGs. So
Yeah, the open world games don't bode well for normies.
no, I'd probably say something on the Switch. Play some Mario Kart, maybe Mario Odyssey, which I still haven't played. I want to play because I love Mario. I like how you can kind of jump into the real world too, so I really want to play it for that reason. But yeah, something on Nintendo, I would say.
Yeah, as let's see here. Nerd Take says that my mind went to the same place. Alf, Nintendo is such a user-friendly and fun area of gaming to start with. So yeah, a lot of Nintendo stuff. The actual first thing I thought of was Zelda. If they're okay with going 3D, I would say pretty much any of the Zelda, except for the recent ones, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I would not recommend someone starting with that because of how open and not that that's a bad thing. Just there's no, like I was talking about earlier with Grounded, there's like no signposting. So they might be overwhelmed on like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And there's the whole weapon degradation system and having to constantly cook food. So I probably wouldn't recommend the newer ones. But if they're okay with doing 3D, I would say some of the older ones like, the N64 Zeldas. But if they're not so much on 3D, the 2D, or I don't know if you want to consider them 2D, but the isometric Zeldas like Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, I think that would be a great place because those are fun, engaging, not terribly difficult. So you don't have to worry, or at least I would say you don't have to worry about like a huge difficulty spike.
Yeah, and Link to the Past was my first Zelda game, and that's what got me hooked on that series. So
mine was the original. I had the gold. I had the gold cartridge.
The original NES Zelda. Yeah,
Yep.
I played that at a friend's house for a little bit, and I was like, "This is boring." But then I was probably like 4 or 5 or something. But then number of years down the line, once Ocarina of Time came out, I played it at a friend's house. I'm like, I like this. And then someone got me Link's Awakening for a Game Boy, and that's where I fell in love with Zelda. And then then after that, I played Ocarina of Time and freaking fell in love with the franchise. But yeah, a lot of Nintendo franchises. I was thinking Donkey Kong, like the old 2D ones, but some of those are pretty hard platformers. So I'm not sure. I'd probably say the old 2D Mario games over the Donkey Kong ones. I'd say those are probably a little bit more friendly. What do you think? Because I know some of the Mario games can get really, really difficult, like some of the later levels in like Mario 3. But I'd say overall Super Mario is probably easier than like Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3.
I was about to say that between the NES Mario games and Super Mario World, I think World is easier than the NES games.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I thought of with this question. Is like Super Mario World is probably a great entry game to get people into gaming because you don't have to worry about the camera and it's not terribly difficult. I'm not huge on strictly platformers, so that's why I like platform by itself, but I love freaking Metroidvanias, so I love that interconnected, semi-open worlds type of thing. But I know
think a good one would
platformers.
I think a good one would be Mario Galaxy. I heard that one has aged very well. It's a
was that the one
game.
on the Wii?
It is the one on the Wii, but I think you can get it for the Switch too. So
I think so.
Man, I wasn't a big fan of the Wii controls, but when Nintendo made games for the Wii, they optimized it pretty well. So, like the Mario Galaxy game plays really well on the Wii.
I ended up getting like the D-pad controller that they sold after the fact because I didn't like the controls.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of catching up on, let's see here, some of the chat. Christian Freddy's saying his first Mario Kart game was Double Dash, and that I know a lot of people consider that to be the best one in the franchise. So that's a good place
great
to start.
game.
Nerdsafe says, "Oh,
Super
go for
NES, Super NES, right?
No, that's GameCube.
Double Dash was GameCube.
Oh, was it? Okay, my bad.
And that's why it didn't get as big a fanfare when it first came out. A lot of people remember it in hindsight because the GameCube just didn't sell very well compared to the other systems
of that generation. Yeah,
Yeah.
Although Mario Kart did originate on the Super Nintendo, but that one was just called. Was it Super Mario Kart or was it just Mario Kart?
The Super Mario Kart.
Yeah. But Nerdsafe saying Crash Bandicoot series would be good. I don't know. Crash Bandicoot's really freaking hard. I never had a PlayStation, so I didn't play Crash until the Insane trilogy, and I haven't played a lot of it, but I've banged my head against the wall in just the first Crash. The first Crash is really difficult, so I would not recommend that to a new gamer. But I do know that was a popular one. Spyro actually would be a good one because that one's very, very gamer friendly. Assuming that you're okay with the 3D, camera controls, because I know some people just can't wrap their head around moving the camera.
I just thought of one that a friend actually recommended that I streamed it a little bit, not that long ago. Never finished it, but Ratchet and Clank, I think would be pretty decent.
I've never, because I never had a PlayStation, I've never played any of the Ratchet Clank games, but I've always wanted to. From what I've seen of them, because I've seen a lot, that I would definitely agree with you on that. It looks like a very, friendly third-person shooter,
and it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I have the latest one on my Steam wish list because that a lot of the PlayStation exclusive games that I've wanted to play have come to Steam. So, I have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is on my wish list.
If you have a PC, you can get PlayStation Plus on the app. It's similar to what Google was trying to do with Stadia, but it works 10 times better because I've never had any latency issues. I can play like Fallout 76 on it and not have any problems. And that's where I was playing Ratchet and Clank because you can get like just a little app you just download and
stream it.
Yeah, and stream it just like you would normally do with if you did something off of Steam. It's just an app for your PC. So
because there's a difference between like streaming it where it's not actually installed on your computer, it's running off of their server versus Steam. You download the game and then you play it on your computer. So
yeah,
download it, or do you just stream it like Netflix?
You download the app and you stream it. So, but I've never had any latency issues.
So it's streaming from the cloud.
Yeah, it's streaming from the cloud, but I mean, I was playing Ratchet and Clank, so it's not that huge, but also to kind of defend it a little bit, Fallout 76 is newer-ish, and it's a PlayStation 4 game, technically, and I haven't had any issues with that either. So Sony must know what they're doing better than Google did.
Yeah, I bet. I have streamed a number of games on my Xbox, because through Xbox, it used to be called xCloud, now it's just called like Microsoft Cloud Gaming or something like that. And I rarely have issues with it. It seems to have gotten better in recently, but the biggest issue was being able to actually like start playing the game, because for a while, every time I started a game through streaming, it's like there was like a queue. You got to wait like 10 or 15 minutes to start playing. I haven't had that in a long time, but every time I have actually streamed a game, I can tell a difference between streaming it and playing it natively on my Xbox, but it's not that big of a difference, and they've done really well with it. So, but yeah, that basically Microsoft's version of what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And Dempsey, I think Dempsey's replying to Nerd Takes about Crash. No way, throw them in the deep end from the start so that they find normal games easier. Start them with Paperboy or Ghosts and Goblins or Metroid or Super Mario Bros. 1. Those are, I know Ghosts and Goblins is like considered one of the hardest games ever. I played Paperboy, but I don't remember if it was difficult or not, because it was like when I was like 5.
Just tell them to play Original Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, Original Ninja Gaiden, one of the hardest old school games ever.
Or the original Ninja Turtles game.
I was just
Oh, yeah,
thinking that the dam level and not DAN and
Oh.
DAM where you're swimming around. You have a time limit and you're trying to avoid the electric.
That game
seaweed.
was so frustratingly difficult, and so many of us that were Ninja Turtles fans, we wanted a good Ninja Turtles game, and that thing pissed me off so many times because I couldn't barely ever get past that water level.
And because I've never actually played that game. I've just seen that level on a lot of lists of like some of the hardest levels that stop people from playing, similar to like the tunnel and Battletoads. Was that water level in TMNT? Was that pretty early in the game? Do you remember?
Oh, it's like the second level, or third
I was going to
level.
say,
Yeah.
I thought from what I remember, it's like the second or third level. So no one like really actually made it through the game because that level was just so difficult.
They made up for it with the later Turtles games, where the side scroller beat 'em up ones. Those were so much better, but the first one was awful.
I know a lot of people have a lot of love for Turtles in Time. That's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's a great one.
I like how Dempsey said laughs in Atari Pitfall. One of the greatest games of all time. E.T. on the Atari. Play it.
Laughs in Atari Pitfall. So yeah, I'm still way back here in the chat. But Nerd Takes, from my experience of teaching my girlfriend how to play games, it's the simpler games that do much better with grabbing her interest. Yeah, exactly. You want to not so dumbed down that a monkey could play it, but something that's easy enough to play and still engaging. So exactly kind of what I was going for with this question. Start them on the NES so they don't get controller overload. Yeah, got a D-pad and 2 buttons. So, but yeah, a lot of those games are super difficult. So something easy on the NES would also be a good place to start. Like, I don't know if the original Zelda was difficult or not, but that could be a great starting place.
It was pretty difficult.
Yeah, I think Link to the Past was an easier game than the ones on the NES.
Okay. Generally, I think side scrollers are a great place to start. Yeah, typically.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But not ones like Ninja Gaiden.
No, not that one.
Let's see here. Oh, Dempsey's asking, did you ever beat Goonies 2 for the NES? I've never played Goonies. I don't even think I've ever even heard of that game. I never had an NES, so I've played very, very little of the original NES. So I don't think I've ever even beaten a full NES game. Although I have beaten like Mario's 1, 2, and 3, but I beat the Super Nintendo versions, not the NES versions, because I had Super Mario All-Stars, which had Mario's 1, 2, and 3, but they were the Super Nintendo versions. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm still way behind. Edward Williams over on Horny Alf's channel saying, love Spyro.
He also said, get him into Mega Man. Those are not easy games.
Oh,
no.
I love Mega Man, but yeah, I definitely would not recommend starting with Mega Man. Trying to get.
I really liked Mega Man X. I thought that was an amazing game.
Yeah, Mega Man X is X 1, 2, and 3 are my favorite Mega Man games, and I would say that they are easier than the original, like the classic series.
Yep.
So if you were wanting to get into an action platformer, I would definitely recommend Mega Man X over the originals, and then go back to them later because they are pretty difficult. But yeah, I love Mega Man because of the Mega Man X series. Yeah, I was so far behind on chat. I'm trying to address everything. Oh yeah, here it is. Get him into Mega Man. Goonies 2 is among the first ever Metroidvania games. Oh, interesting. I've never even heard of that game. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for mentioning that. So Goonies 2. Another game, a couple games that were on NES that I did not know that they existed on NES until they were on Xbox One. I have them. I have not played them yet. But I was like, oh, they made this like really retro-looking game, Metroidvania game, and people were like, oh no, this is a game from the '80s that they just ported. I'm like, oh, and that was the Master Blaster Zero games, 1, 2, and 3, which were apparently NES games, and those were Metroidvanias or Metroidvania-esque. Like I said, I haven't played them, so I don't know how Metroidvania they are, but at least on True Achievements, which is being an Xbox gamer and a achievement hunter and a completionist, that's where I base a lot of my Metroidvanias on. So, and they have the Metroidvania genre tag there. So, first game. So, all right. Go ahead and put in the exclamation games again. If you want to win, I've been writing down some names, so I'll contact you guys afterwards. But if you want to potentially win Xbox or Steam games, put in that exclamation games in the YouTube chat, and the bot will pick a random winner. So, so we will move on to our last topic. We're actually burning through our topics faster than I expected, which is a first. So we might actually end a little early today. So
we haven't gone on as many tangents today. I mean, I can fix that if you want.
if you want to. I love tangents. So, do you have a tangent you want to go on before we get into our next question?
I don't actually, honestly, I don't think so, to be honest.
Dempsey's saying it came out a little after Metroid. Oh, a little less than a year actually. Goonies 2 actually point and click first person sections and side scroll platforming. Yeah, interesting. I've not heard of that. Wait, are we talking about normies our age or any age? I was thinking normies our age was the idea behind the question. So someone who might be our age and just never got into games, like what game would you suggest them? But you could do it for kids. But kids nowadays will probably pick up on games a lot easier than someone our age who's picking up games for the first time.
Oh yeah, dude, it'd be embarrassing.
Just like how it's like, grandparents these days, like go have your grandkids fix your phone when it doesn't work because kids know more about this stuff than they do.
I had an ex that I tried to play one of the new Mortal Kombats with her son. He's like, I don't know, 14 at the time. He stomped the snot out of me. I was literally reduced to like trying to do the button mashing thing. Like, it was embarrassing.
Your little iGames thing or exclamation point games, is it pulling it from my chat too?
I don't believe so. No, it does have to be in my chat. So I do see that Edward put that in there. If you want to hop over into my chat real quick and put it in there, then that should work. But it doesn't pull from other linked channels. So sorry. Thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, Anna's saying that because I made my mom play The Last of Us and she couldn't do it, but she could play Video Olympics on Atari. Oh, and if it helps, my dad started playing video games through Myst. That was a tough point-and-click puzzle game. I played it for the first time recently, the remaster, because it was on Game Pass and it was leaving Game Pass, so I panic played it. And that was a great puzzle game. And they're remastering Riven, and that's going to be out soon. I'm looking forward to playing that. Because I always heard about those games back in the day, that they were like some of the hardest puzzle games ever. And I love puzzle games, but I never got a chance to play them until Myst recently. And I'm looking forward to when they come out with Riven. So, let's see. Have you guys tried the arcade 1-up machines? I've heard of those, but I have never had any experience with them. Do you think it's a good way to introduce someone to side scroller depending on the game? I don't exactly know what that is. I've just heard that term, arcade 1-up.
Yeah,
do you guys know what that is?
They're like remakes of older arcade games from like the 90s, so you can get like it's in a newer, it's cheaper, arcade. But it's supposed to be like a miniature one that you can put in your house. It's a little smaller than the original arcades.
Yeah, like this.
No, they're maybe about 4 or 5 feet tall, but they're much skinnier, smaller screens. But
okay,
you can still get people in there and play games. Like I've seen the one for Mortal Kombat. There's some other ones out there. But
isn't that the one that Jay Drunk 3PO has? He bought a couple of those. He said they're like $500.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but they're not as expensive as trying to buy an original arcade cabinet.
Yeah, which I've priced some of the original arcade cabinets. Like, one of my favorite ones to play as a kid was Hydro Thunder, because it had like a Top Fuel dragster boat. And I'm a huge NHRI drag racing fan, so I love that game.
That was a cool race.
It was literally 3 times what one of these is. It's like $1,500 for an actual machine that was in the arcade.
Wow.
That
and shipping would be outrageous because those things are humongous.
Oh yeah, you'd probably have to ship through like FedEx Freight, and it'd be like $500. So it'd be at least like $2,100 for the everything. Easily $2,200 with tax, something like that.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and these arcade 1-up things, you can buy them at Walmart, and you bring it home.
Yep.
You can assemble it yourself, basically.
Oh,
they have them on Wayfair.
Interesting. What do you happen to know? Kind of what they retail for, or you were saying about 500 then?
The ones I'm seeing here, because I googled it. Some start at about 500, some about 600. That seems to be the spanning price.
Yeah, I got one here for 300 for the Ninja Turtles game.
Oh, that's cool. Edward's
at
saying
Best
that
Buy.
4-player TMNT Shredder's Arcade or Shredder's Revenge for 300.
I've
That's pretty
streamed
dope.
that game, Shredder's Revenge. It's a newer Turtles game.
Yeah, it just came out a couple years ago.
I streamed it probably about 6 months ago. It's up to 6 players. I'm gonna have to revisit that game for one of my multiplayer nights. And it's cheap, and it's not a lot. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's a newer game that looks like an old school Turtles beat 'em up.
Yeah, it plays like the old arcade beat 'em ups. So I know that that game was pretty popular.
Wayfair has a Fast and the Furious one, $600.
Fast and Furious arcade game.
Yeah, it's the Fast and the Furious Deluxe Arcade Machine 2-in-1 games. I wonder if it has the second one too. It's got a steering wheel and everything.
Huh. Cool.
Interesting.
All right. All right. Well, we will get into our last question here for the day. So, a while back, I like to finish off with we were going through the different console generations. So the last question would be like, what was your favorite game from this generation, this generation? So we basically got all the way up to the modern generation. So I'm kind of going to keep that alive, but instead we're going to go by year now. So I didn't want to go so far back because, I mean, all of us are about the same age. Right? Ryan, you're like a year older than me. Horny Alf, I think you might have me by a couple years, but I know sometimes sometimes I'll have guys on who are a little bit younger, so I didn't want to go too far back, like into like the 80s. But I wanted to start with 1990 because I'm pretty sure we were all probably gaming at that time, or at least played games that came out then, maybe a little bit later. So starting off, we're going to end each party chat with starting off with 1990 and work our way up to the current day. But what was everyone's favorite game from 1990? There's one that I think overshadows basically everything, and I have a feeling it's probably going to be the one that we all have as the answers, unless you guys aren't sure what games came out in 1990. But
I'm kind of in that bracket. I'm Googling it right now.
I had a feeling.
I looked ahead, so I'll go ahead and go first if you don't
mind.
Go
for it.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It came with Super NES. The Super Mario World was of the games I owned. That was my favorite from that year. Now I can go. I got a second choice here of the games I didn't own at the time when it was relevant, but loved going over to my friend's house to play was F-Zero.
Oh, the original F-Zero came out in 1990. I did not realize that. Oh, and yeah, it did. Interesting.
And yeah, I never owned it when it was relevant. I ended up picking it up later, many years later. But it was one of my favorite that I didn't own. I would go to my friend's house to play.
Okay. Yeah, the Super Mario World is basically what made me a gamer because my grandparents got me a Super Nintendo for Christmas when I was a kid, and it came with Super Mario World. And yeah, that was the first game I ever owned. So that was the one I was referring to that kind of overshadows everything. But there are a few other great games from 1990. So Ryan, did you find one that you really like from 1990?
Yeah, no, I have to go with
a couple.
I have to go with Super Mario World because even though I didn't have an Super NES, I had a cousin that did, and he would invite me over and we would play that. And so I really did enjoy that game, but I never ever owned a Super NES.
Okay. But yeah, the first thing when I was looking into this, the first thing that popped up was for 1990 was Super Mario World, and that was. I haven't played many of these games I'm looking at from 1990. I have played a few of them, but none of them beat Super Mario World. But a couple other big ones from 1990 was F-Zero, as you mentioned. In the classic Mega Man franchise, Mega Man 3 came out in 1990, and I know a lot of people really love that one. Although I think most people who are fans of the classic, Mega Man 2 is a lot of people's favorite, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about Mega Man 3. I have played it, but I played all the classic ones back to back, so I don't remember which one was which. But I have played them all the classic ones. Secret of Monkey Island is a very popular point and click from back then, 1990, and Final Fantasy 3.
Can I call an audible based on the fact that it was released in North America in February 1990?
That works.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, did it?
We got it 2 years after Japan did.
It was that long after? Interesting.
Yeah, released on home consoles Japan October 23rd, 1988, in North America on February 12th, 1990, and in Europe on August 29th, 1991. I played the holy sweet Jesus out of Super Mario Brothers 3. I love that game still to this day. You could fly, dude.
Oh, yeah, nice. With the Tanuki.
Yep. Yeah, I got to call an audible on that one. I played Super Mario Brothers
That worked.
3 all the time, and I
Oh,
think I.
Dr. Mario came out in 1990.
Yep,
Dr.
yeah, it
Mario.
did.
My mom played the death out of that.
I I know that we rented it one time, and it wasn't really my thing because it was just like puzzle games, wasn't it?
It's kind of like it's similar to Tetris but different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid. Oh, Metal Gear 2 came out
Metal
that
Gear.
year as well.
Yep, I was going to mention that. And the one, if you're looking at the same list I am, the next one I was going to mention was Smash TV. I only played it in the arcade, and I liked that game, but I never played much of it. But I did really like that game. But yeah, nothing beats Super Mario World because that's literally the game that's responsible for making me a gamer. But yeah, so curious from you guys in the chat, what are your favorite games from 1990? And that is about going to wrap us up. But if you want, get that exclamation games in the chat. I'm going to roll it one more time and give away another game, and I will reach out to you guys after the stream. So if you want to be eligible, put that exclamation games in my chat, and I will roll it again here one more time before we end. So
Do it.
let's see here. Where'd my notes go? Oh, there we go. So 1990. So all right. Well, thank you guys for joining me for another party chat. Do you guys have anything that you want to plug before we head on out?
Guess first.
All right. My channel is called Horny Alf. Check it out. I'm at 423 subs on the march to 500, so I can monetize. Probably going to take me longer on the viewing hours. That's why I'm streaming more often, trying to build those hours. I stream multiple times during the week. I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but I know there's some new people here. On Wednesdays are called my Warship Wednesdays, where we play World of Warships on PC with Static 2020, Wolverine Snicked, and a few other people. Fridays, for right now, we're playing Halo Reach with Dermy Wormy, Static, and Shaka Zulu. Dermy missed last night, which is hilarious because he's been looking forward to this. But and then Saturdays are my day that I usually do like a solo stream where I just play a game that I want to play by myself. And then on Sunday nights is my multiplayer game night where we just rotate games in and out what we're playing. And this Sunday is my ladies' night stream. So a lot of the ladies from this side of the internet will be joining me. We're playing some party animals, which usually ends up in the women ganging up on me and beating the crap out of me. So
That sounds about right. There's a man, get him. It's like,
Down with the patriarchy.
oh, I got. So I guess
I dropped Alf's link in the chat if you want to go sub to him, and I'm pretty sure I did preload his links into the stream description as well. So
and I just noticed, I just noted Christian subbed to my channel, so thank you for that.
Oh, good sub.
Nice.
Yeah, Christian's a good dude. So all right, Ryan, what do you got going on?
Well, so gonna have family coming into town, so it might be a little scarce, except for the standard shows. So we'll say that Monday night, House of the Dragon, season 2, episode number 3 review. And then Wednesday night is overbooked. That is basically our wrestling show, talking about current wrestling, what's kind of going on. Also talking about some of the stuff we like from the past. Both shows are with Joker Voice. So it's a good time. Left Eye Ego joins us. We make fun of him on Wednesday nights for being a Jade Cargill simp. So
That is
yeah, you're like, I have no idea. It's fine. She's female Goldberg. It's all good.
like the wrestler.
Yeah, she's a female wrestler and she's like really jacked, but she's horrible. So I want to start playing some Fable really badly. I just haven't had time. I'm going to be covering everything going on leading up to November 5th. So I've been doing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, no, I seem to be in YouTube purgatory on my channel Legion Talk. I don't know why. My subs go up, then they go down, and I don't think I hit like what was it, 487? 480? No, yeah, 487. Then I dropped down to like 480. Then I jumped up to 484, and then I'm like 42. And it's like this weird roller coaster. I don't know. But yeah, no. And if so, it's always fun. Maybe I need to do some more acolyte videos.
been in the same sort of thing where last party chat, I was mentioning that my YouTube anniversary is coming up. It'd be awesome to hit 200. Had a bunch of people shout me out on Twitter. My subs went up like 6, and then it dropped like 7. Then I gained 1, and so I was like back to where I started. And then over the last day or two, I've gained a couple more. So I'm at 190 right now. So I'm 10 away. So, anything else that you wanted to plug?
No, man, that's it. Unless you want to go over and you want to talk about some political stuff from a non-partisan shill perspective. Legion Wire, it's right there in my description. It is a play off the Daily Wire because why not?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I am going to be in about an hour and a half here. I'm going to be playing Breath Edge, which is a game a lot like Subnautica for anyone who doesn't know it. But I'll be about an hour and a half here. I'll be going live on that.
Cool. Yeah, and I did check, and I do have the links to Ryan. At least I have the link to your game channel in the stream description, and I've got Horny Alf's link there as well. So
I'm about 10 away from 2,600, so I really need to start doing stuff on that again too.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. I had a great time chatting with you, Ryan. As always, thanks for joining Horny Alf. I'm glad we were able to finally make this happen. So last call, if anyone, I'm going to roll it one more time here for another game to give away. Enter that ! games here within the next minute or two. So for me, today is my channel anniversary. So I don't know, maybe like a half hour or so from now, I'm going to boot up a gaming roulette stream, and we're going to let the wheel pick what I play. Any tips will add a spin to the wheel. I'm shamelessly ripping that off my good buddy Melee James. But it is going to be an open call, so if you want to come and hang out and chat with me while I'm gaming, you're welcome to. Let me know, and I will invite you onto the call. And then at 5 o'clock Pacific tonight, I'm going to be back on my good buddy Carl at the RNG Gaming Podcast. We're going to be talking about all things Xbox 360 because 1 month from today, July 29th, the Xbox 360 store is closing. So if you want to hear us talk about 360 and recommendations for what to buy, because a lot of games are on steep discount right now with the store closing impending, come hang out on the Carl of the RNG Gaming Podcast at 5 o'clock Pacific. So, all right, with that. Oh, you know what? Let's see here. Check the poll. All right. Well, we got 9 votes on my poll of should I start a Discord server, and then a 9-0 in favor of yes. So I will take that into advisement. Because I ran this poll on my open mic the other night as well, and I don't know where my notes are there. So I'll just write it here. 9-0 in favor. And I see that we have one more person say that put in that / game. So let me do that before we... Let's see. I got so many windows open right now. There we go. We got 3 there. So we're going to roll it one more time.
Like how...
And
Steve
where's the button?
What's
Roll
up,
it.
nerds?
There
What's
it
is.
is. What's up, F and Steve? So
I love that, man. That's such a... Remember when probably the majority of us were younger and they used to call us nerds because it's like, oh, you like Star Wars. It's like, yeah, everybody likes Star Wars. You're just like, now it's like a term of endearment. It's like...
I have always proudly, what's the word? Proclaimed the title of nerd.
Heck yeah, man!
I wear it proudly. Badge of honor. That's in my
Dude,
name.
I used to wear rock, the rock T-shirts to high school, man. Like they literally one read "Get ready" and on the back said your candy ass is next, and then the
you
other
said
one,
I remember you mentioned like you got in trouble for
bring
that
the
one time.
we bring the whooping, and on the other one is you bring the ass. Like, I wore those to high school, man.
I would have worn nerdy shirts, but we had dress codes, so I couldn't. But I wouldn't
My
have done
school's pretty
wrestling
lenient.
stuff because I've never been into wrestling. But all right, so I ran the roll again, and Nerd Takes won the last roll.
Nice.
And, Dempsey won the roll earlier, and Ryan, you won right in the middle. So,
No, I didn't win one. Give it to somebody else.
all right, if you say so.
Seriously, no, give it to somebody else. Seriously.
All right. Cool. I will reach out to Dempsey and Nerd Takes, and
Give it to Christian. He's subscribed.
Oh, he's been a subscriber of mine. So
Well, he's subscribed to my channel. So
yeah, subscribed to Horny Alf.
that's what that. That's my stream elements. Just announcing that someone subbed.
Oh, I need to figure that out.
This is going to be a dumb question, dude. Is it easy to set up stream elements because I'm half retarded?
It's not that difficult.
It's
honestly.
easy to sign up for, but to get it to do what you want can be tricky.
Yeah, you got to go into the options. I can look through it, and if you need, we can talk later about that.
Okay, yeah, because and also try to put up like a donation link, which I'd never expect anybody to donate, but it's like the pin comment. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I don't know how to do that.
That
Again,
part's the easy part. You
Is
just
it?
post it. You just post a comment in your chat, and then there's 3 little dots next to it, and then you click that, and one of the options is pin, and it'll pin it to the top.
Oh man.
It's that easy.
God.
And you can do that before the stream even starts, which is what I usually do.
I told you, I'm slightly
Yeah,
retarded.
that's what I do when I build my stream. I just automatically put the donation link in the chat.
Well, that's fair enough. And thank you, Nerd Takes, for subbing, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Nerd Takes.
Yeah,
on here.
thanks,
but,
man.
Chris and I got connected recently. He was on open mic not that long ago, and he's always hanging out in my chats and dropping interesting tidbits because he's got crazy knowledge on stuff. So, but yeah, in just a little bit, I'm going to be doing a roulette stream, and every tip spins the wheel, and I will be giving more games away during that stream. So if you want more chances to win some games, come hang out and chat with me either in the chat or even on the stream. So that will do it for today. Thank you guys for being on my panel today. It was great hanging out with you. And thank you everyone in chat for showing up and helping me celebrate my 1-year YouTube anniversary. And one more thing. As I said earlier, July 4th on Thursday is also my birthday. And from 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Pacific time, I'm just doing a chill stream with a bunch of people. We're just going to hang out and shoot the breeze. No planned topics. We're just going to have some fun chatting. So come hang out for that. And if you want to be on the call, it's going to be pretty crazy because I was originally planning on doing it through Restream because that's normally how I do panel shows. But I have a limit of 10 people, and more than 10 people said they want to come on and hang out. So I'm probably going to be doing it through Discord because that Discord call lets you do it up to 25 people. So it could be nuts, but it's going to be fun.
Holy
so
cow.
Come hang out for the birthday stream. So
I thought 10 was rough. 25.
That's the maximum. I don't think we're going to get that many, but you can't. I googled it last night to see how many.
10.
I got some stuff we can talk about in the backstage after about Discord that I'm using for my streams now when I play with other people. So
perfect. I'm definitely open to technical advisement. So, but yeah, I had googled it last night. I'm like, how many people can be in a Discord call? It's like 25. I'm like, okay, as long as it's more than 10, I think we'll be good. So
that's so many.
And F and Steve is saying, happy anniversary, Neil. Thank you, F and Steve. I appreciate it. So thank you, everyone.
He also did say Ryan is a fake nerd, and I'm okay with that.
Ryan is a fake nerd. So thank you guys, everyone, for hung out and chat while we were talking about nerdy video game stuff. You're going to have to help me again, Alf.
Legatus?
Legatus Legionus.
Legatus Legionus, Nerd Takes, Psychotic Mongoose, Anna's Gameland, Christian Frades. Let's see here. Edward Williams, Dempsey. I'm sure I missed someone, so I apologize. But thanks for hanging out. We will catch you all later on, hopefully. And if not, we'll see you later. In the meantime, everyone, game on.